Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, Chris D Redefined. It's been a little while since I did a long one, so I thought I would, and there's a little bit of changes, some news, so I wanted to touch base with you and let you know what's going on. So, the first big news is something I've been waiting for a year and a half, since before I started this channel and my adventure here. I have an expired, or did have an expired residency card. My residency card was only good for 1 year, and I had to renew every year, and I understood that when I moved here. What I didn't know is that they have an incredible backup of, because of all the red tape and paperwork, they would have a backup of 365,000 immigrants here in Portugal that would need renewal, and I got caught up in all of that. So I tried to navigate starting the renewal process on my own. I went through a lawyer when I got my initial residency permit, and then to renew, I heard you do it online. You submit some digital copies of things, and it should be done pretty easily. So I thought I wouldn't involve my lawyer this time. Big mistake. So I reapplied online, and I got rejected because of some paperwork issues. I tried to fix it myself, resubmitted, and I got rejected a second time. And when they reject you a second time, they say you have been denied, and that you have 10 days to respond, or else we'll start proceedings to kick you out of the country. Well, of course, at that point, I panicked. And this is probably 6 months ago now. Yeah, maybe about 6 months ago. So my card was already expired for a year at this point. And I contacted my lawyer, and I said, hey, I tried to renew myself. This is what happened. And she said, yeah, this happens when you submit something incorrectly and they don't understand what you're trying to say. So she gathered all my documents again. She said, just give me all your latest documents. Let me see if you submitted what you submitted correctly and what you didn't. And resubmitted. A lot of it was the banking portion that they didn't understand. She wrote a full letter of explanation of my finance situation. And then finally, after waiting an additional 3 months, so at this point it's been a year and a half that I've had an expired card, they finally, last week, they said yes, approved me, changed my immigration status to approved, and I finally received my new immigration card, my new residency title here, Título de Residencia, and it's good for 2 years this time. Yay! So, I'm legal again for 2 years, and in fact, at that point, I will just have about hit the 5-year limit or benchmark. You have to live in Portugal legally for 5 years, and then apply for permanent residency, which I think is what I will do. It'll be just short of 5 years by like 30 days. So I'm hoping my lawyer will have some good news and just say, okay, just wait that extra month, and then we'll apply for your residency, your permanent residency. We'll see what she says. So my advice to those who are trying to navigate Portuguese immigration processes alone, just get a lawyer, because there are a lot of nuances that are missed. And yes, the immigration authority looks more kindly or communicates more kindly with a Portuguese lawyer than with you. They're more likely to say yes to a Portuguese lawyer than to you. And so it's just part of the process. And I should have known this. I already knew it, but I was trying to get away with not using a lawyer. By the way, lawyers here are really inexpensive. In comparison to the US, their services are super inexpensive. Of course, I have a private lawyer. She's not part of a firm, which tends to charge more. But a friend of mine from the program, the language program, said, use my lawyer. Your prices that you're paying are too high. I'm using the private lawyer, and much less expensive. What she charges per hour is like, I can't even, I'm appalled that she is being paid so little, but that's what they make here. So it's something like $15 an hour. Insanity, right? In comparison to the US, which is more like $150 an hour in the US. So if not more, depending on the law firm and if you're going through a single lawyer or a law firm, right? So that's my advice. So I have my new residency card, my new residency permit. It's good for 2 years, so I'm good. Very happy about that. Also, I have decided, through lots of gnashing of teeth and many late nights trying to study, that I have had it up to here with trying to get further in Portuguese language learning. It's super hard for me. I reached level B2. I actually took the level B1 exam on July 15th, and I'll get my score back on September 14th. But I took the National Portuguese exam, which is necessary to pass if you will. I think B1 level is what's required to pass if you want to apply for citizenship one day, which I do. So I took the exam, and we'll see what I got. It's level B1. I have tried to take B2 and pass. I passed B2 twice, but I barely passed twice. And both of my professors said, we don't even understand how you passed. You just got lucky, kind of thing. I don't really understand B2 level material, and it's way too hard for me to bang my head against the wall and continue to try to memorize all of the verb tenses. So I have re-enrolled for another year in the Instituto de Cultura e Língua Português at the university, but this year I'm going backwards. I'm going to A2 and relearn the basics, get really solid again in the basics, and only if I've passed A2, but and just take B1 again. I have found a master's program at a different university. There's tons of universities in Lisbon. At a different university, which is only an additional 10-minute walk from the university that I attend. And it offers a master's in English, a master's in psychology. It's called the Master's in Psychology of Multicultural Diversity, or Multicultural Integration. And so I'll be learning, which I thought is appropriate. I'm an American who is transitioning to living in Portugal. So I thought that getting a degree in this, getting a master's degree in this, it would be a great idea. And you never know, I might be able to work for an American company that sends employees here to Lisbon, and maybe, or to Portugal in general, and maybe I could work with them. I'm not as a transition specialist, but you never know. So I thought it would be a great master's program to continue, and it costs exactly the same, like literally exactly the same price as my language program. By the time this residency card is expired, I'll be 1 month short of the 5-year benchmark required to apply for permanent residency here in Portugal as an expat. So hopefully my lawyer will say, we'll just wait that month and then just reapply for permanent residency rather than renewing your temporary residency card for a couple of years. So we'll see. Let's see. Also, it's summertime, so I don't have to study. So I've been going around Lisbon with friends. I couldn't leave the country because I didn't have my new residency card. So my lawyer and many friends advised me not to leave Portugal because all it takes is an immigration officer at the airport who doesn't believe your story or like the look of you, or doesn't, understand your paperwork. Even though I'm enrolled as a student at university, they might say, hey, this card is expired, and so I didn't, and they could refuse return to Portugal, and then I would be screwed, basically. locked out of Portugal. So I didn't leave. I visited like Viana do Castelo and some smaller towns outside of Lisbon, and gone all over Lisbon again with friends. But I do have a trip coming up. I just booked it today, actually. I'm taking a bus trip down to Sines, which is a beautiful coastal town, the birthplace of Vasco da Gama, the explorer. And I will be going there for just a day at the end of the month. And then next month, I am going to Germany. I spent 4 years in Germany in my right out of college. I went straight to Germany out of college and spent 4 years in Germany in a little town called Mainz, right outside of Frankfurt, about a half an hour drive from Frankfurt. And I'm going right back there. I want to see, that was, 33 years ago? Might be more. Gosh, yeah, about 33 years ago. And so I want to see what's changed. And so I'm going to go to Germany for about 5 days and go to that little town of Mainz and see what's changed in the town. It's a city. It's just a small city, nowhere as big as Lisbon. But I'm going to go there and spend some time just running around the city of Mainz. I can't wait, to be honest with you. What else is going on? I've been really swamped with Pro-DA, Progressive Caucus of Democrats Abroad. I've become the communications co-chair, and I pretty much manage all the Instagram posts, which then propagate the Facebook page as well. So I'm doing a lot of work with the Progressive Caucus of Democrats Abroad, and with the midterms coming up, we have a lot of progressive candidates, 5 that are going for senatorial seats, which is fantastic. We could get 5, if we win, we could get 5 more progressives in the Senate, which is amazing. And then we would have majority there. And then the House has almost 20 different progressives that won their races and will be going for elections in November. So there's so many of them. I have a list. I'm kind of keeping a list for the Progressive Caucus, and we all have to decide who to endorse. But that'll be very exciting as we hit the midterms to see. Now, the midterms, of course, are really dicey, because the president's going to, I don't like calling the president, the occupant of the White House is going to try to stay there. We all know, we saw what happened on January 6th. He's not going to leave. So he's going to try to mess with the outcomes of the midterms. He's already said he's sending ICE, about 1,000 ICE agents out to different polling sites. I mean, if you want to know how to help with these midterms, please volunteer to work at the polls. There's a website you can go to. I think it's Power at the Polls, and volunteer at your polls just to walk people in peacefully into the polling site. And that's the best way people can help. Phone banking for your favorite candidate, and then doing everything from knocking on doors to phone banking. If you can contribute money, these are the most important elections of our lives, basically, to save our democracy. And then Kai, I haven't heard from my son in 6 months. Yeah, over 6 months now. So a little bit worried about him. I did find out that one of his childhood friends from like kindergarten lives in the same apartment complex with him, and I've become Facebook friends with him. And he has said that he bumped into Kai at the end of May and he looked fine, but he hasn't seen him at this point since then. So, but he says his roommates stay in touch with him and they would tell me if there was a problem. So he told me not to worry. So trying to get through navigating that, feeling a little worried about my son, but hopefully he'll answer. He always just randomly answers my emails, which I send every week to him. So that's what's happening in my life. Thank you for tuning in to Christy Redefined. I will be doing another short here in just a moment, so I'll post that up as well. Thanks for tuning in to Chris D Redefined. Please subscribe if you like my channel and you like this content.